can I take a moment for a second? Okay, so the question that I wanted to ask was, I feel like I have some emptiness or like some default or like some like defect like in my mind, and it affects like many type of like relations that I like that I had before or like that I'm going to have. So is there any way that I can like overcome or like how do I need to deal with this?
공허하다고 느낄 때 왜 공허하지? 이렇게 자신에게 물어보십시오.
So whenever you feel empty, ask yourself, why do I feel empty?
So I actually try some like getting some psychotherapy or like talk to the psychologist or something. Then I also like study for myself like how it comes. It looks like there was some I think some lack of connection or with my parents' relationship. Well, I mean I was growing up in a normal family, but looks like both of my parents were like working. And I personally don't feel like I was empathized like much when I was like grown up, so I still like feeling that emptiness. So I have some problem with the relationship with them, and it also affects like with the future relationship with whoever that I date, and I'm afraid that it's gonna affect like how I'm gonna interact with the future partner or something.
그거는 이제 학자가 원인을 탐구하는 방식이고요. 심리학자가
That's what psychologists or scholars investigate.
과거를 생각하지 말고 지금 왜 공허할까 이렇게 살펴야 됩니다. 공허하다고 느낄 때 왜 공허하지 이렇게.
So instead of thinking about the past, when you feel empty at that moment, ask yourself, why am I feeling empty at this moment?
가만히 있을 때 공허하다면 가만히 있는데 왜 공허하지?
So if you feel empty when you're still, then ask yourself, why am I feeling empty when I'm still?
과거의 원인을 탐구하라는 게 아니에요. 지금 왜 그럴까 이렇게.
So instead of investigating the source of your emptiness in the past, investigate why are you feeling empty now?
What if I'm trying to like fulfill myself, like lack of the attachment, like from the coming relationship, it looks like abnormal or not, like ordinary way.
어떤 게 정상적이고 어떤 게 비정상적입니까?
What is normal and what is abnormal?
Like for example, I'm glad that I did it like after her, but I'm the person after breakup, like I'm being clingy and then like crying.
그거 지극히 정상적이에요.
That's absolutely normal.
But you said that it might look ugly. You said it might look ugly, and then it doesn't look good. But I'm the person who actually like don't mind to like did it, and they didn't end up like doing in a good way, like for the relationship. So
인간관계가 원래 좋게 끝나는 경우가 드뭅니다.
So it is really rare to end the relationship in a beautiful way.
인생을 너무 아름답게 그리고 있어서 그래요.
I think you may picture a life too beautifully.
지금 얘기한 거는 지극히 정상적이고.
What you just said is absolutely normal.
what about if I'm a little obsessed with the relationship?
집착하는 것이 좋으면 집착하시고 집착하는 것이 괴로우면 내려놓으면 됩니다.
So if you're happy when you're obsessed with a relationship, you can continue to do that. But if you are not happy when you're obsessed with a relationship, then you stop doing it.
어째야 된다는 것은 없습니다.
There is no such thing as you're supposed to do X and X.
어떤 것은 내가 선택하고 그 결과를 책임지면 됩니다.
In any case, you can make a choice, whatever you want, and you just can You just take the responsibility of the consequences of your decision.
예를 들어서 말씀을 드리면
For example,
이 컵을 갖고 싶다.
let's say you want to take this cup.
갖고 하십시오.
You can take this cup.
그러면 도둑질이 됩니다.
And you can be treated as a thief.
그러면 처벌을 받게 됩니다.
And you will be punished.
그걸 기꺼이 받아들여야 합니다.
Then you have to embrace it and accept it.
만약에 감옥에 1년 살아도 살 수도 있습니다.
Maybe you can just live in a jail for 1 year.
1년을 살면서 그래도 난 컵 하나 가져와 봤다. 이렇게 있습니다.
Like during the 1 year in the jail, you can, be happy because I had that cup. I had that cup. I'm satisfied with this life in this jail.
그런데 그렇지가 못하고
Well, maybe you will not be happy.
그때 조금 참을 걸. 그때 하지 말아야 되는데 이렇게 반성이 된다면
If you have regrets over, taking the cup,
다음부터는 갖고 싶어도 멈춰야 합니다.
then next time, even if you want to have a thing, then you will just, not do it.
그러니까 어떻게 하는 게 좋다고 결정된 건 없습니다.
So there's no such thing as absolutely good. So there's no predestined, differentiation between good and bad.
갖고 싶을 때 어떻게 할 거냐? 이렇게 하면 감옥살이 하고 이렇게 하면 감옥살이 안 하고 이걸 가지고 자기가 선택을 하는 거예요.
So what should I do when I do want to have this cup? Your choice, I will take it, then you go to jail. If I don't take it, I don't go to jail. So you make a decision and choice between these two.
나 같으면 갖고 싶더라도 나는 갖지 않겠다. 감옥은 가기 싫으니까 이렇게 선택을 해.
And you can make a choice. If I were you, don't want to go to jail, so I decide to not take the cup.
What if I want to take a risk and then take the cup? What would you think?
네, 괜찮습니다.
That's okay.
유행이 안 잡힐 수도 있습니다.
Maybe you have luck and you will not, get caught.
그러나 확률적으로 보면 이 컵을 훔치는 게 손실이 훨씬 더 큽니다.
But probability-wise, taking that cup will cause you more harm than good.
그렇기 때문에 일반적으로는 훔치지 마라 이렇게 말하는 거예요.
So in general, we are taught to not take other people's belongings
왜냐하면 손실이 크니까.
because it will cause you more harm than benefit.
So the dilemma is like, for that example, I was like the one who chose actually the normal answers like that. So
Taking the cup.
yeah.
그러니까 비정상적인 게 아니라는 거예요. 조금 소수일 뿐이지. 소수라고 비정상적인 거는 아니에요.
Maybe it can be a part of minority group, but we cannot really say it's abnormal.
So is it gonna be okay if I notice myself like my thought mechanism like unique or like different from the other people, but is it gonna be okay?
네네.
Yes.
조금 좀 바보 같다 이렇게 말할 수는 있어요.
Maybe we can say you're being a little bit foolish
왜냐하면 손실이 큰 일을 자꾸 행하니까.
because you keep doing what's going to bring you more loss to yourself.
비정상적이거나 나쁘다기보다 약간 바보스럽다 이렇게 말할 수
So
있어요.
it's not necessarily abnormal or wrong, but you're being a little foolish.
But we can't tell the answer how the relationship or how the result's gonna go up after.
네네.
We can.
그러나 대충 예측되는 확률은 있습니다.
But we still can have this prediction based on this probability.
만약에 내가 복권을 샀다고 합시다.
Let's say I bought a lottery.
이것이 당첨될 확률은 매우 낮습니다.
I have a very little chance of, winning the lottery.
그러나 당첨 안 된다고 단정적으로 말할 수는 없습니다.
But we cannot really say I will not win the lottery 100%.
그러나 당첨 안 돼 이렇게 우리가 예측할 수는 있습니다.
But
안 된다고 예측할 수는 있습니다.
But we can always make a prediction that I'm not going to win that lottery.
왜냐하면 그럴 확률이 매우 높기 때문에.
Because the possibility is really high.
아까 젊은 남성과 연애를 하거나 결혼하겠다는 여성은 헤어질 확률이 보통 비슷한 나이보다 높을까요, 낮을까요?
So let's take an example from the former question. So having a relationship with much younger men, so the probability of getting parted, is it much higher or lesser than having a relationship with a similar age man?
Do I answer?
제가 대답하나요?
예.
Yes.
I mean, social norm-wise, people think that I think it could be higher, but I would support.
그리고 그걸 각오하고 그걸 예측하고 그런 행위를 해야 된다.
So when we engage in those activities, you have to, be willing to take those kinds of consequences.
그러나 사람은 확률이 낮은데도 이렇게 모험을 할 수 있잖아요.
However, people do take risks even if there is less and small chance of, being successful.
그러나 주위에 있는 어른들은 오랜 인생의 경험에서 가능하면 확률이 높은 쪽으로 가라고 우리에게 권유하죠.
But older generation, elders around us, from their experiences of long time, they always make suggestions to go to a route with less probability of failure.
다시 얘기하지만은 자기는 비정상적인 것도 아니고 나쁜 것도 아니고 다만 보편적이지는 못하다 이렇게는 말할 수 있어요.
So again, you're not wrong or you're not abnormal, but maybe you are not in one of the majority group. So you're not one of the common people.
If I put the blame on my parents, am I the wrong person? If I'm gonna put the blame on my parents, am I gonna be the wrong person?
If you
If I put the blame,
아니요. 네.
No.
부모님으로부터 시작됐다 하더라도 현재는 이미 낯것이 되어버렸습니다.
Even if it started from your parents, at this point, it's all yours.
왜냐하면 현재 부모님을 처벌한다고 해도 자기께 개선이 안 됩니다.
Even if you maybe in any way punish your parents, it doesn't solve your problem.
자기가 해결해야 됩니다.
You have to overcome it.
I don't know when to finish, so give me the cue.
그러니까 다시 물었어요. 뭐가 자기가 질문하고자 하는 게 어떻습니까?
So if you have remaining questions, you can go ahead.
공허할 때 왜 공허하지 하고 이렇게 알아차림을 하는 것이 좋습니다.
So I would suggest that whenever you feel empty, you ask yourself, why am I feeling empty?
그 외에 아무것도 하지 않아도 괜찮습니다.
And other than you don't have to do anything.
그러면 시간이 경과되면 점점 개선됩니다.
And if you keep asking yourself the question, as time goes by, it will be much better.
왜냐하면 공할 일이란 게 본래 없기 때문입니다.
Because there is no reason or nothing to be empty about.
다만 그렇게 지금 느낄 뿐입니다.
It's just the feeling that you have right now.
네.
Thank you.